Who would have thought that the leftists and the media would not believe all women? It's kind of ironic, isn't it? This is one of the reasons why I left the left, specifically the Democrats, is because they champion for a certain ideology or a certain belief, but the moment it goes against, and the moment it turns against them, they try to champion a different belief. Here's basically the code of the current Democrats on the left. You must believe all women, unless it hurts a Democrat. You must love all minorities, except those who are conservative. You must not be racist, unless it's towards a white person. The left is full of hypocrisy, and that is why I left the left, and that's why a lot of people are doing it too. The media, in any case, also helps amplify this type of behavior, because how many times do you remember the media, especially like CNN, the New York Times, they were talking about Christine Blasey Ford and how she was credibly accusing Brett Kavanaugh, basically a Boy Scout who was basically bedded in. He had a career as a politician, and then all of a sudden, this woman comes out and accuses him. And what did the left do? Oh, we must believe her because the accusations are credible. Brett Kavanaugh has been credibly accused. Alyssa Milano was a huge advocate for basically skinning Brett Kavanaugh alive, not literally, of course, but figuratively. Butcher the guy, run him through the gutter, and make sure he doesn't become a Supreme Court justice. But the moment Joe Biden ends up being accused, what does Alyssa Milano do? Oh, well, we don't know the facts yet. Same thing with some of the founders of the Me Too movement. Rose McGowan, when her little friend Asia Argento was accused of sexually assaulting a minor, what did Rose McGowan do? Oh, we must get all the facts first. Right, because we all know the Me Too movement and the left care about getting the facts first before they report what they're going to report. Before CNN or the New York Times, before they push out an article, clearly they do their research and their fact checking before they even publish an article. But again, goes to show you that the media is full of it and they don't believe all women. So what is it then? Do we believe all women? Or does the left, can they acknowledge that some women can make things up and lie? Now, I'm not saying that Tara Reid made it up. I'm not a big fan of accusations that happened decades ago. But ever since this whole thing started, a lot of evidence has been coming up recently, and I'm starting to believe Tara Reid. I don't know if you were aware, but I don't know if you're aware of a podcaster by the name of Larry King. Very I'm talking about very very old guy. I actually seen some of his episodes. The guy, I like his stuff. But apparently, one of the episodes was removed. Why? Because apparently the person who called Larry King on that episode turned out to be Tara Reid's mother. Tara Reid confirmed it, and it was in regards to basically Tara Reid's experience as a subordinate of Joe Biden. Now, obviously, it was anonymous, but Tara Reid has mentioned that she has talked to her mother about this. She told her mother about the encounter. She told several friends about it. So now a lot of the evidence started to come up. But why isn't the media talking about this? Because one, they're full of it. Two, they don't believe all women. And three, because they're in bed with the Democratic establishment and Joe Biden. But let's see a little bit, shall we? Before we even read the article, let's read a little bit of these tweets. So apparently, I don't know if you're aware of an individual by the name of Brad Parscale. He recently has been a huge, I wouldn't say proponent, but he's been pushing for the whole Tara Reid story to basically be part of the mainstream media because of how the hypocrisy of the left. Believe a woman, accept it unless it affects a Democrat. Well, here's a tweet. But anyway, so yeah. So basically, Brad ended up, actually not really Brad, but he said Team Trump. It says, Team Trump campaign manager Brad at Parscale, the media is giving Biden a free pass. Why does the media refuse to ask Creepy Joe about the Tara Reid allegations? They certainly didn't trust Justice Brett Kavanaugh the same way. An individual by the name of Clyde B. ended up saying, of course you notice that it's being put on by Fox News. Enough said. Why is it that Tara Reid is just coming out with these accusations? I wonder how much money the Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale is paying her. Someone needs to ask that question. Very interesting. Did Clyde B just not believe all women? Wow, he's a sexist, wouldn't you say? Well, it's perfectly fine if you are a Democrat championing for in the defense of another Democrat. But imagine if it was the other way around. Now, I'm going to read the same tweet that I just read, but I'm going to switch Tara Reid with Christine Blasey Ford and Trump campaign manager with the Democratic Party. I wonder how much outrage that would ensue. But let's reread the tweet, shall we? Of course, you notice this is being put out by CNN. Enough said. Why is it that Christine Blasey Ford is just coming out with these accusations? I wonder how much money the Democrats are paying her. Someone needs to ask that question. Imagine if a conservative went out and put this tweet during the whole Brett Kavanaugh situation. A lot of people would be mad. Twitter would have probably banned this person. But since Clyde B is clearly a Democrat or a leftist, I would assume, and he's coming out in the defense of a Democrat, Twitter isn't going to do anything about this, and it's perfectly fine because we all know the Democrats, they are angels. They are harmless. At the same time, The View. Remember when The View was talking about Brett Kavanaugh and was criticizing him from hell to high water? Remember that time? Well, apparently they're ignoring Tara Reid's allegations towards Joe Biden. You mean to tell me you don't believe all women in The View? Oh my God, you guys are sexist bigots. Oh wait, that's right, I forgot. The View is mostly composed of a bunch of Trump-hating leftist idiots, except for Meghan McCain. She's conservative, but she doesn't like Trump either. But even then, they ignore it. I wonder why. Maybe because down to the core they realize, hey, maybe we don't believe a woman. But here's the thing: the Democrats and the left, they don't have any principles. They don't. They will champion this idea, but the moment it comes back and bites them in the rear end, they suddenly change the rules for them. Rules for thee, but not for me. And here's the thing: even the New York Times, they even went as far to basically sneak in a little side information that says that basically one could be arrested for creating a false police report. And this is when Tara Reid, made the police report towards Joe Biden. So it kind of goes to show you that the left, they only care about sexual assault allegations when it benefits them. But when it doesn't, they go on full defense mode. And one of the biggest arguments that the New York Times and CNN all these leftists say is that Joe Biden doesn't have a history of being a creep. He doesn't have a history of sexual abuse or sexual misconduct. Joe Biden had to apologize for it. Remember, he actually made a public apology saying that he, in his time as a politician, he did those kinds of things, but he never did it with bad intentions, according to him. Remember that, leftists? Remember that, Democrats? But if you forgot, there's actually a satirical website by the name of joebiden.info where it has videos, images of everything he has done. And I'm talking about a lot of things where he was completely being a creep, from women to children. I'm telling you, even Jon Stewart, hey, I'm not gonna lie, Jon Stewart, a left-leaning individual, even called out Joe Biden's nonsense. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about Joe Biden? And not to mention the media. That the media is full of it, and they will do anything they can to protect this man because they know that their only hope to beat Trump is a senile old man who doesn't know where the hell he is most of the time, and he has a problem with kissing little girls, smelling women's hair, and touching them on their shoulders every other 10 seconds. We all know this, and I mean, this isn't fabricated. Look right here on the top left corner. Look at the girl. You mean to tell me she's comfortable doing that? It doesn't look like she is. Look at her face of discomfort. She is just mind blown. But now to the main subject at hand. Tara Reid, if anything, she is furious. And a lot of people who are supporting Tara Reid are furious as well. Why? Because the media isn't paying attention to her. Now, preach to Rose McGowan at least, in the sense that she's actually come out and called out Alyssa Milano's hypocrisy, assuming that Rose McGowan still is on Tara Reid's side. But again, the media only cares about the problem until it bites them in the butt. Democrats, they love Hispanics, but they're not going to love me because I'm a conservative Hispanic. The left, they like to say, we are not racist, we must fight against racism. But they are totally racist against white people. That's the thing about the left. Rules for thee, but not for me. Well, let's see why Tara Reid is pissed off. And I think she has a good reason to be pissed off. Because the media, when it was Christine Blasey Ford against Brett Kavanaugh, the media wouldn't stop talking about her. But when it's Joe Biden, the last hope of the Democrats in 2020 to beat Donald Trump, is facing an accusation, all of a sudden the media's in full defense mode. Oh, Tara Reid's making it up. Why did she wait so long? I asked the same questions about Christine Blasey Ford, and guess what? There was no evidence. And I asked the same question about Tara Reid too. Why wait so long for that accusation? But she has more evidence than Blasey Ford. That's why I'm starting to believe her. So, if anything, Tara Reid should be getting more attention. But the media isn't going to give her any attention whatsoever. They're not going to. Why? Because it's Joe Biden. The media is going to defend Joe Biden because they believe that he's the only hope, and I'm talking about any bad press is going to end up hurting Joe Biden. I mean, it's not like he already has good press to begin with. The guy's already a senile old man who doesn't know where the hell he is most of the time. But let's see what Tara Reid has to say. Tara Reid, the woman accusing former Vice President Joe Biden of sexual assault, told Fox News Sunday that she's disappointed in the media, and especially CNN anchor Anderson Cooper, for avoiding asking Biden about her allegations in the last two interviews, calling anchor's behavior shocking and partisan. Reid made her claims more than a month ago on a podcast with progressive political commentator Katie Halper. She says Biden sexually assaulted her back in the mid-90s when she worked as an aide in the Senate office, and alleges that she was fired when she considered going to authorities to report Biden's behavior. Since Reid first went public with the story, Biden has done nearly a dozen TV interviews with news anchors, including NBC News, Chuck Todd, ABC News, George Stephanopoulos, and twice with Cooper, Fox News reports, and all of them failed to ask Biden about Reid's public claim. They haven't. But again, it's their network, so they can ask whatever questions they want. But it goes to show you how inconsistent and hypocritical the left-wing mainstream media is. Reid has since filed a criminal complaint with the Washington, D.C. police, even though the statute of limitations on the alleged criminal behavior has long since passed, and at least two people have come forward to say that Reid told them about the assault back in the 90s, providing some evidence of contemporaneous accounts of the attack. I think I read it right. Biden denies the allegations. Correction. Biden's spokesperson denies the allegations. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden doesn't even remember that happened, because we all know he's losing his mind a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. But anyways, continue. Though he has yet to speak on them publicly, when asked for comment, the Biden campaign refers to reporters' statement issued earlier in April from Biden's campaign manager, Kate Bedingfield, called Reid's claims untrue. Very sexist of you, Miss Kate, because you do not believe all women. But anyways, keep going. Reid's evidence is thin. I don't think so, because there's a lot of evidence coming up, especially with the Larry King episode as well. But it is more than Christine Blasey Ford was able to prove in a testimony made under oath against then Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, whom Dr. Ford claimed sexually assaulted her during a high school house party when the pair were both teenagers. And that is why I believe Tara Reid more than Christine Blasey Ford. Christine Blasey Ford didn't have a single amount of evidence, but the left said the accusation is more than enough. But when it comes to Tara Reid, she actually has some evidence. Not the best, but she has some evidence compared to Christine Blasey Ford. They had no evidence whatsoever. The witnesses, they didn't even back up the story of Ford. That's what's actually pretty ironic. But Tara Reid has a little bit of evidence. And what does the media say? Oh, it's not true. It's not enough evidence. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's the thing with the left. They will call you out for your nonsense, but the moment you turn your backs on them, they go back into the same thing to tell you not to do. That is why I left the left. That is why I got sick of the Democrats. They tell me according to them, I'm a peon to these people. They tell me, don't do this, don't do that. You need to drive a hybrid. You need to stop using a lot of electricity. We need to start going to solar stuff. And then next thing you know, they're flying on their private jets. Spare me. Don't lecture me. Don't lecture the public about doing stuff that you're not even doing yourself. Sit back, shut up, and just do what your job is. If your job is to be an actor, don't lecture me about me saving energy when you're flying on your private jet. Don't tell me that I shouldn't be supporting border security when you live behind a whole gated community. Don't tell me I can't have a firearm on my person when you're literally surrounded by security guards who are armed. Don't tell me that stuff. Practice what you preach first before you come lecturing the general public. According to Reid, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the article, shall we? According to Reid, the disparity in treatment of her claims and Dr. Ford's is evidence of partisanship and protectionism. You don't say, Reid. I'm surprised you barely figured this out. I think it's shocking that this much time has passed and he's an actual nominee for president and they're not asking questions, Reid told Fox. And exclusively, he's been on Anderson Cooper at least twice where he has not been asked. I guess my question is, if this were Donald Trump, would they treat it the same way? If this were Brett Kavanaugh, did they treat it the same way? Reid added. In other words, it's politics and political agenda playing a role in objective reporting and asking the question. This is why, if anything, a lot of people are pissed off with Joe Biden, if anything. Joe Biden, the supporters will say, well, Joe Biden doesn't have a history of sexual misconduct. There's literally a website. Literally, I'm playing on your screen right now. There's literally a website of Joe Biden being sexually inappropriate. It's going too far. Like, he literally sniffs women's hair. Literally, oh my god, like he literally mistouches and he doesn't have any sense of personal space. The guy even went on and apologized for it. How come the left doesn't remember this? Maybe because they have small brains, or maybe because they ignore it. They ignore it because it doesn't benefit them. They only pay attention when it benefits them. If it's a woman accusing a conservative, go about it. Believe her. Believe all women. No, 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 no. But the moment that the Democrat who's being accused, they basically threw out those same principles are chanting. That's basically what it is. Some people at least have some degree of principles. Rose McGowan, she has some of my respect in this case because she actually is calling out the hypocrisy of Alyssa Milano. Doesn't mean I respect Rose McGowan in entirety, considering she actually defended her friend Asia Argento when she was accused of having sexual relations with a minor at the time. But hey, that's what the left is. That is why I left the left, and that is why the media is full of it. The View, celebrities, they will tell us and lecture us, the general public, that we shouldn't do things or that we should do things. But the moment the cameras aren't on them, they go and do the things they tell us not to do. So here's the thing. If you are a celebrity, if you are someone of higher influence, and you're telling the general public to do something and you're not doing it yourself, shut up and do what you're paid to do. You're an actor, don't lecture me about climate change. Get rid of your private jet, stop driving in your limo, and then once you do that, maybe you can start lecturing us. Or second option, maybe just don't get involved in politics. Democrats, leftists, you want people to believe all women? Or do you want people to question women? Because we all know that every human being, man, woman, whatever gender you identify yourself with, is capable of lying. Because that's pretty much what the media is trying to do. The media is telling us we should believe all women, we should believe women like Christine Blasey Ford. But now with this, they're stabbing themselves. It's basically a double-edged sword. By coming out in defense of Joe Biden, the media is basically saying that women are capable of lying, therefore hurting the Me Too movement, and at the same time hurting actual victims like Tara Reid. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you guys did like it, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. That helps out a lot. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think Tara Reid her reason to be pissed off at the media is justified? Do you think her supporters, the people who believe her, have a reason to be pissed off? I think so. But what about you? Do you think that the left is inconsistent with their beliefs, or do you think they are consistent? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, like the video, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.